In this video, we are going to create Azure storage account and understand various storage services and few other considerations. Alright, I am on the Azure portal. Let's go ahead and create the storage account. So we go to the storage accounts. We click on the create and we select the subscription, and let's make sure that we select the right resource group. This is where I'm going to place this storage account. And when it comes to the naming of storage account, this is what you need to know. The storage account name can be maximum 24 character longs. Okay, and all the things has to be in a lowercase. So I'm just going to go ahead and basically name something, some random number, because it has to be unique. Nothing more than that. It has to be unique across Azure. It's a global namespace, right? So it has to be unique. Select the zone, and this is where you select the storage service that you want. We discuss almost 5 storage service such as blob, Azure file, tables, queue, and disk, right? Here you might think that, okay, why data lake here, right? The thing is that data lake is now highly integrated as part of the storage account, and it is just like a blob storage. Only difference is that this particular guy provide you a hierarchical namespace. When you create a container and store containers, right? Particularly in the storage account, you can have containers and folders, and you can create a kind of hierarchical namespace for storing your data set. Actually, that's the beauty. And also the size of this particular storage account will be pretty huge. Okay, that's the beauty. Let's go ahead and select that one. And we also discuss about the premium versus standard, right? Again, standard, premium comes with some premium things, right? So you just need to understand, what is that premium thing, right? So go ahead and scan through it. Depending on the kind of storage that you want to select, you would select basically the premium option, right? We just go with the standard, nothing fancy there. And these are the redundancy options. We have gone through every redundancy option. What is essential for you to understand, particularly the read access. Now, when we're selecting LRS, you don't get something for the read access, right? But when you select like a geo redundant, you can see that make read access to data available in the event of regional availability, right? Because read access is possible only in geo redundant storage and geo zone redundant storage, right? If you select LRS, it is not there, and if you select zone redundant, it is not there. Okay, so that is how that learning you have to translate and basically align with these options, basically, right? Because you only see 4 of them, and you might think that, okay, it's not possible, right? So this is how you make that possible. So we select LRS in this case for the demo, and let's move to the next screen. Now on this screen, yes, some of the options is nice to have, because it is considered as a secure option, such as like a require secure transfer, of course, right? You want that all the time. And enable storage account key access if you want some part of the solution accessing this storage account using a storage account keys, right? That is nice to have kind of things with your storage account. And this is anyway TLS version. Current TLS version is 1.2 and all those things, right? Again, this one permitted scope for copy operation. I think from storage account to storage account, again, you might choose based on your own use case, actually, to be just leave it from any storage account. This is where that data lake things comes in picture. Once you select this one, it is actually a data lake account now. Okay, and once you select this one, you can see that you can enable SFTP, and you can enable network file system protocol as well, right? Otherwise you don't have those options. It comes only when you select this, right? Then again, cross tenant replication based on your use case. You select the access tier based on your use case. The purpose of the storage account will drive you what access tier it is going to be. And yeah, you want like a large Azure share, right? You select that one as well, right? Networking, by default you get a public endpoint when you create a storage account, right? But as and when we say public endpoint, that means people feel that there is no security as such, right? Or you might get exposed to the bad actors. It could be the case as well, right? But the thing is that I think even though it's a public access, in some cases it is still secure because you're accessing the storage account over TLS, right? So that should be okay. But mostly I think use cases now driven by the private access, right, within the organization. And that's where you come and add a private endpoint. Now this private endpoint will be a kind of network interface within your private network. So instead of accessing this particular storage account using the public endpoint, you will access that over the private endpoint, right? But keep one thing in mind: when you start using private endpoint, your DNS solution has to be solid, within the organization. It's not like that you just come here and add a private endpoint. You need to understand how those private DNS will resolve this particular storage account. So that's the learning I would like to emphasize here. Okay, so we're not going to add in this particular case because that will again add a lot more complexity in the demo. But this is how the things are going to be. And I think in the fundamental course, you just need to know that, when you add a private endpoint, the storage account will be in the private network only, right? Then it's not accessible over the public internet. But I think as and when you build your skill, you start getting to the details of private endpoint configuration and setup, right? We just leave that one as it is. Next one is data protection. Now, whatever the things that you see here provided as part of the data protection, again, based on your use cases, you enable them. Okay. It's all nice to have based on your use cases. Your use cases will drive you the kind of configuration that is needed for the specific storage account. We're just leaving as it is. We're not going to go ahead and select anything there, but that is how it is, right? Then the encryption. By default, you get a Microsoft managed encryption at rest, right? By the service itself. But if you want your own key to encrypt the data sitting in this storage account, then this is how you do that. You have to have a key vault. You select the key vault and then basically the key out of that particular key vault, and then you encrypt the data. Okay, again, this is a kind of like advanced level. I won't go in the detail, but this is the thing I just wanted to highlight. By default, yes, it is a Microsoft manage, at rest using a Microsoft manage key, but you have a kind of luxury and cushion to go with your own keys as well. Okay, and then tag, then review and create, right? Depending on whatever the kind of metadata that you want to add with this particular storage account, that's where you add a tag. Otherwise, you just go ahead and create, right? That is how it is, right? It doesn't take a lot more time, hardly a minute to create the storage account. All right, it is created. Let's go to the storage account now. That's the name of the storage account, and you can see that whatever that you selected, you're basically getting that. Here you can see that container, right? File share, queues, and tables. If you want to utilize the kind of blob storage container service, you come here, create the container, whatever the thing is, name it properly based on the right naming convention. Just go ahead and create and start placing the data there. Storage account also provide you the fine grain access control on the container as well. Keep that thing in mind. You can have your access control defined at the container level as well. You define at the storage account level, right? Like this, by coming to the access control. But in addition to that, you can do at the container level also. So what happens if you feel that you just want to provide access to specific users on the containers, you can still do that. Okay. File share is something like this. Just go ahead, create a file share, test file share, name it something, select whatever transaction optimize, hot, cool, whatever it is based on your use case. Go ahead and create it. Okay, that's how you create a file share. And once you create, this is how you can mount on the Windows or Linux host. For Windows, if you want to mount this one as a Z drive, show the script, you get a script, you simply go into the PowerShell on the Windows and you run this script. That's it. So this particular file share will get mounted as a Z drive on the Windows. Similarly, on the Linux, if you just want to mount as a file system, just come here, copy the script and run on the Linux host. Now in both the cases, there might be some prerequisite that you need to address. So if you're running into some issues, that means you have to ensure that some of the OS level utilities are present. I think Windows is straightforward, but particularly for Linux, it might happen because you have to go ahead and download some kind of CIFS related utilities before you run this successfully, right? Then whatever the data basically that you will place into the mount, it will automatically come to the storage account. All right. Now, when there is a firewall, things would be a little different. You just need to ensure that port 445 is open within the firewall, so that you can mount this one on the servers or wherever, desktop servers, wherever you want to mount, right? That is the file share. Let's go ahead and close this one. And similarly, let's go ahead again in that particular storage account. And this is something for the messaging, and this is again something for storing the structured data, right? Depending on your use case, you basically make use of this one, right? Queues and tables. If you are application guy, can understand this one very easily. Queues are mostly used for the decoupling purpose, and this is for again, just like you creating a table and placing the data set within the storage account directly. Now, another thing to understand here, for each cloud storage service, you get a different endpoints. And this is something that you need to understand. You can see that for everything, blob service, file service, queue service, table service, data lake storage, it's a different endpoint. It's not the same endpoint. Okay. And this is one of the things to understand, because you will reference this storage account based on this endpoint in your application configuration. Okay, that's the thing. Another thing is that there is a storage browser, inbuilt storage browser with the service. So you might make use of this, to move some of the like, let's say, data from container to file share or something like that. That is where it is very useful to make use of it, right? Maybe I think there is some issue. I don't want to go ahead and basically troubleshoot this one, but you get an idea. I think it just basically some kind of inbuilt utility that you can use to move storage account data within the storage account itself. All right, that's pretty much about storage account. A lot of things to digest there, but this is how that service looks like. All right, all good. Thank you.